Hey there guys, it's me Alien back in another video, and today we're going to be seeing what would happen if India formed its empire. As you see here, this is India with its flag in the map, and they're going to be expanding today, so let's see what is going to happen. So India here is colored in red, and countries colored in blue is the defender, and red is the attacker. So India here has just formed its little empire here, and they're going to be expanding. So they're going to expand to Bangladesh first, because it's right here, and there's a bit of an issue. Yeah, you can see that they have like the rest of their country like over here, and yet we have Bangladesh existing. So India doesn't have any beef with Bangladesh in real life, but the empire, the new Indian empire, is gonna have beef with Bangladesh for no good reason. It's all because they want land. That's all what they want, is that juicy land, and also for economy. Even though India is kind of like, India's empire is not doing so hot right now in terms of living standards, but yeah. So anyway, let's look at the peace treaty. If I'm not going to lie, those borders look so much better. Like it just looks so much better. Plus, India just gained 140 million people or something like that. So India now is going to expand down south to Sri Lanka, and India and China, there's some beefs going on right now in this universe too, so nothing has changed. But there's been some Chinese missiles pointing at India, and India is going to give them a laugh at the Chinese government. And India stormed through the country, and it's not even funny anymore. It's just, India now is super India, I guess, or something like that. So India now doesn't really have that much places to go to, except Myanmar and Bhutan and Nepal, and Pakistan, China. But Nepal is mountainous. Pakistan, they're gonna get China involved. They attack China, they're gonna get Pakistan involved, and it's not really good. Bhutan, I don't know what China thinks about Bhutan, because Bhutan doesn't even recognize China as a country, which is very funny in my opinion. But we have Myanmar right here, a very if not weakened Myanmar, because I think they have a coup going on right now, or they had one in 2021. They did have one in 2021, but I don't know if it's still going on. But India is going to take advantage of what Myanmar's went through, and they're basically just going to destroy Myanmar even more. Like, come on, India, they literally, what they went through, and now you're just gonna set up more coups in their country. Yet now we have another country interfering with the country. So yeah, they destroyed it pretty quickly, because India's military is pretty powerful in this universe, because they just buffed it up pretty good. And yeah, let's see the peace treaty. And so that is the peace treaty right there. India has basically annexed all of northern Myanmar, but they've left the rest of Myanmar alone with its tail. Basically, Myanmar is like this is mainland Myanmar, and they have this tail right here. So now India borders Thailand and Laos, and has a longer border with China. So India and Bhutan have pretty good relations, and so India has sent a little bit of a question to Bhutan saying, hey, do you want to join this little empire right here? And Bhutan says yes. India does the same thing to Nepal, but they say just hold on for a second, let us think about it. So now India doesn't really have anywhere else to go to. Like the only place they can expand to is like Laos, more of Myanmar, Thailand, Pakistan, and China. So Pakistan and China, they're gonna have to wait on, because they're going to attack Laos. In which the PROC, aka the People's Republic of China, isn't too excited, because this is another communist country, even though the People's Republic of China, their communism's a bit different. But yeah, now so a bunch of Indian troops start to flood into Laos, and not Myanmar, I can't speak. Vietnam over here wants to join in the fun. And starts attacking Laos too. And basically, if we have two Chinese enemies fighting one of their, I don't know if China and Laos are allies. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, if China sees one of their allies getting beaten up by two enemies, well, you know, you just basically made the Chinese government want to cry. Not really, but you know, yeah. Laos dies pretty quickly too, because you know they're also a very poor country. And yeah, let's see what the peace treaty looks like. And so yeah, India has basically not annexed that much of Laos, because you know they wanted Vietnam to gain some land and to basically, you know, make them seem trustworthy. So India, Vietnam, and Thailand have all created an alliance. I mean, yeah, they're not really that important, but you know, they're Indian allies, Indian Empire allies. So yeah, now India doesn't have anywhere else to go to, but Thailand over here starts to do some military operations in Myanmar, but we'll check back at that later. So India, yeah, India wants to check on Nepal, and they accept. And if you look over here in Southeast Asia, it's just India, Vietnam, and Thailand. Because you know, Thailand has annexed all of Myanmar, and Vietnam and Thailand have both split Cambodia. So now we have some pretty powerful countries for India over here. Their militaries have been a bit bigger, but it's not that big. But yeah, so now we have a pretty long border with their enemies, that's not good. So now what does India do? So in this bloodbath area right here, Pakistanis and Indian troops, well, someone shot first, and you know, it's just kind of like you know what happened here in the American Revolution. It's like, you know, we don't know who first shot, but it's basically like that too. It's like the shot heard around the world or something like that 2.0, but you know, it definitely would have a different name. But so yeah, you have now gotten Pakistan involved, and same as China, and in which you've gotten both your allies to join in this war. And yeah, this is some trouble we got for India and its allies. Let's see what's going to happen next. India starts sending some troops over here and up into this Jammu and Kashmir claim right here. And India does really want Tibet. Tibet goes from like over here to here. But you know, it's gonna be very slow because it's literally just the Himalayas from you know, this area. It's literally just the Himalayas right here. Like, yeah, the only area they can fight into, which is right here in southeastern China, in which they're gonna do that. They're gonna fight in southeastern China, but it goes kind of slow. But then China over here is gonna do some things in this country right here, below it. And India starts to send in some more troops to Pakistan, until Pakistan finally starts to, you know, finally wake up and push back a lot of these Indian troops, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. But it goes kind of slow over the time, and yeah. India first is going to try to capture all the coast and a big city over here. I forgot what it's called. And yeah, so India tries to do that, but first India is going to take all of its troops right here away from Pakistan and try to invade the south, which it goes pretty successful, but then Pakistani troops start to arrive to fight back the Indians. And the Indians start to push back into Jammu and Kashmir, and even start to push into this claim of China's. So yeah, India already here has an advantage, but China over here is gonna take an advantage, because you know, India, there's not many troops that India has supplied over here, which, you know, China is gonna have a fun time pushing into Indian and Vietnamese territory. And oh boy, now it's looking pretty equal for both sides. China over here is gonna cut India and Vietnam from, you know, from each other. And yeah, and so Chinese troops start to flood in right here and start to flood into former Burmese territory. I don't know what you call Myanmar people, but yeah. So yeah, the Chinese armies have split India into two pieces and have also cut off India access from, you know, these guys. But you know, there's still the sea to go to there, so they're still safe. But you know, it's gonna take a long time now, a much more of a long time to, you know, send each other supplies. And then over here, the Pakistanis finally start to push back the Indians, and I still cannot speak English for some reason. And then finally, it's time for these guys to stop slacking. So Vietnamese troops start to push over here, and same as Thailand. And then Indian troops start to finally push, but then they see a weak point right here, in which they have a good idea, which is to cut off a lot of Chinese troops away from mainland China. So now India has access to Thailand and Vietnam, but then these guys start to cut off all these Chinese troops right here, in which they all, and yeah, now it's back to this. India over here starts to make it to Islamabad, and a lot of Indian troops basically have a goal, which is to take down the south and also take the capital. And it's gonna be pretty easy. So basically, yeah, India is basically going to capture all of Pakistan's coast, and they do just that. And now we're at Iran, and India takes over Islamabad, and now India has all Jammu and Kashmir. And just a disclaimer, this is a fictional scenario, so India is a lot more powerful than it should be, and yeah, that's why you see this happening. And yeah, I decided to give India some allies just because why not, and it'll make the video more fun, I think. But yeah, let's continue. So yeah, Pakistan is basically dead at this point, and they don't really have a choice but to just kind of lay out right here. But they don't surrender yet. Keyword yet. So yeah, now the front line has frozen over here, but India is now going to focus over here on its east and help out their allies and kick out all these troops right here. So now it's time for another invasion of China, in which some Vietnamese troops sent into Hainan Island. India, for some reason, makes a mistake of sending a lot of troops into Pakistan, in which China is going to have a fun time blowing back into India, but it doesn't go that much, surprisingly. And then Pakistan decides to surrender. And now it's time for India to do this, and time for China to do this. But making a mistake, going over here, going over there, Jammu and Kashmir, well, you just blew a bunch of Chinese troops away from India, all of them. So yeah, now India is having a fun time just blowing into China. And you know, these guys have a goal, which is to basically take up all the coast of China, which they do so pretty successfully. Macau and Hong Kong, yeah, they get occupied too. And then China is like, okay, hold on, just stop for a second, just stop for a second. But then these guys don't listen to them, and so yeah, it's time for a peace treaty, I guess. And it's the peace treaty right here. So yeah, India is probably bigger than the United States. Pakistan barely exists and doesn't even have its coast anymore, which India takes out the slightest and borders Iran. But they didn't take Islamabad, at least. He did take Tibet. But India did not gain any land here in Myanmar/Laos. Vietnam did gain some land over here, but they didn't get Hainan Island, which they tried to get, but it didn't work out. And so yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, but if you want to check out more mapping videos, you can click on this video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next mapping video.